Lisa in Ealing.
Hi, good morning, Nick. Good morning, Mr. Clegg.
Morning.
I have two main questions for you regarding social housing and the bedroom tax.
Right.
I'll give you a little bit of background. I have two boys under 16. My house has been classified as being under-occupied because both of my boys are under 16 and of the same sex. Obviously, they're both boys. My problem is this. Whose decision was it to classify as having two boys living under 16 being able to live in one bedroom? The second point I have, to subsidise your the housing benefit, we also got a letter, a flyer in the envelope saying that Ealing Council are willing to subsidise the housing benefit by suggesting that we take in a foster child. That is the problem I have.
Right. Well, Lisa, firstly, the rules on sharing a room, children sharing a room under the age of 16, are rules which have been, I can't tell you precisely the date when they started, but they're not new rules. So the rules, as far as I remember them, is that children under the age of 10, regardless of their gender, are expected to share a room, and then children of the same gender between the ages of 10 and 16, under the rules governing housing benefit, are expected to share a room, and that applies, if you like, I think, I'm pretty sure this is right, in both the private rented sector and social housing, regardless of whether you're living in which, but assuming you receive housing benefits. So those are the rules which I think I'm pretty sure existed under the previous government. We haven't changed those at all. So that's the answer to your first question. In answer to your second question, look, I obviously can't peer over the shoulder of what letters are being sent by Ealing Council to you. That's the first time I've ever heard a council actually suggesting that's the easiest way for you to deal with the issue.
How do you respond to that?
Well, actually, Ealing, in fact, all councils have now got we're making available around £155 million of what are called discretionary housing payments, so basically money that Ealing has available to it to help you, Lisa, and indeed others, if they judge that's justifiable under the new rules. Because clearly what we want to do is make sure that we treat people who receive housing benefit in the social housing sector in exactly the same way that people who receive housing benefit have had to operate under the rules in the private rented sector. We're simply making it fairer across those two bits of the system, if you like. But of course, there will be difficult cases, people caught out. We've already said that foster families will be excluded. We've said that people who've got children in the armed services will be excluded. People with disabled children will be excluded. Pensioners are excluded. We're constantly looking at where we need to adapt the rules further as they're implemented.
Lisa?
I'm concerned about the fact that Ealing Council can suggest to subsidise or to make up for the difference in your housing benefit to take in a foster child. Foster children are obviously there because of the circumstances. People are going to take up the opportunity to take in a foster child just to make ends meet.
Yeah, well, I have to say, Lisa, I mean, I'm pretty. I think it's not right for Ealing Council to take what was an exemption that we announced a couple of weeks ago, where we said foster families will not be covered by this, and then use that to go around locally saying, why don't you turn yourself into a foster family? The Ealing Council has a significant discretionary pot of money that we're making available to them. We've actually expanded that pot of money. It's a much bigger, by the way, pot of money which we're making available to councils than the last Labour government did when they changed rules in the way in which housing benefit was administered. But we have a fundamental problem, Lisa, which is that we have about 1.8 million households in this country waiting to get onto the housing waiting list. You've got around 1 million surplus homes, if you like, rooms which are not being used in the subsidised housing sector. So we need to somehow try and make sense of all of that and make sure that people are treated fairly. At the moment, someone who receives housing benefit in a social home has a different set of rules to their neighbour who receives housing benefit in the private rented sector. That doesn't seem fair to us.
Mr. Clegg, just to take Lisa's point, how would you feel if, as a result of what's possibly unfairly called the bedroom tax, more and more people became foster parents purely for the cash?
Well, as Lisa knows, if it's one bedroom that is deemed, if you like, to be surplus, can I just be very clear? That would then cost Lisa and her family £14. Now, as I say, it's the first time I've heard of a council taking the new exemptions that we've announced over the last couple of weeks, given the fact that we have been very open about the fact that we've expanded the amount of money available to councils.
Yes, yes.
The councils have got.
But if this happens, Mr. Clegg.
Well, no, I'm not. I am not happy at all with the idea of councils taking an exemption which we've provided as a government for foster families and encouraging people to change the way that they are as families just to avoid that £14 extra. I understand this is a difficult decision. I cannot stress enough. We've provided more money. We've introduced a number of exemptions. We're prepared to do more as the thing comes into practice, comes into effect, in order to make sure the hardest cases are properly and sensitively dealt with.